Okay, we are ready to talk cryptos. Wong, a crypto journalist, is going to lead this talk with 3 guests. We have Irina Scarlat, Chief Growth Officer at Bitpanda. We have Ruben Merre, co-founder and CEO of Ngrave, and Stephane Gantchev, partner at LAUNCHub. Let's find out more about the cryptocurrencies and welcome those people on stage with an applause, please.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. I know the weather is wonderful outside, so thanks for joining this session. I thought we would start with a quick introduction of the panel, and then we're going to find out from the audience what their level of crypto knowledge is, okay? So maybe, Irina, you want to do a quick one-line intro on yourself and what you do?
Sure, thanks for having me here. So hello everyone, I'm Irina. I'm Bitpanda's Chief Growth Officer. Bitpanda is an investment platform that offers its customers the opportunity to invest in a wide range of assets, ranging from crypto to stocks, ETFs, from as little as $1, and it's fully regulated.
Ruben.
Hey everyone, my name is Ruben Merre. I'm co-founder and CEO of Ngrave. Our core specialty is to give users the tools to actually protect themselves in the broader crypto world and the world of digital assets. So we've built, you could say, the first true end-to-end self-custody solution in the space. Self-custody means that you own your own crypto. And to do that, we've built a hardware wallet called Zero. So a touchscreen crypto hardware wallet. Basically, you have to see it in terms of security as the only financial product in the world with EAL7 security certification, which is the highest in the world. Next to that, we have invented a backup solution that sort of makes paper wallets something of the past instead of the status quo today. And third, we have a mobile app to actually interact with the blockchain in real time, see your portfolio in real time, while everything is actually safe and sound offline when it comes to your private keys.
Not your keys, not your coins, right?
Yes.
Stephane, last but not least.
Hi everyone. My name is Stephane Gantchev, and I'm partner at LAUNCHub Ventures. We're based in Sofia, Bulgaria, and we invest, based predominantly in Southeastern Europe, Eastern Europe, but broadly in Europe in general. We have 3 funds until now, and we actually started looking into crypto relatively early. So we are kind of a journalistic fund to start with. We're not like a fully crypto fund. We're a traditional VC fund that discovered crypto quite early. In 2014, actually, was our first deal in a Slovenian startup. So ever since, actually, we are active in the space and quite bullish on it even today.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, guys. Quick intro on me. My name is Joon. I started as a journalist in the space in 2013 at CoinDesk. I still write for CoinDesk, a column, and other folks, including TechCrunch. And I have an agency, and we work with some of the biggest protocols in the world, doing the largest conferences in the industry. So now a little bit about you all. Can we have a show of hands? Who here owns some Bitcoin and Ethereum? Bitcoin, Ethereum owners? All right, that's like a lot of the crowd.
Nice.
70%, maybe, 80? All right, so now we go a level up. So who owns some NFTs or other layer 1 assets? All right,
Irina,
wonderful. Like maybe 30%. And now the most advanced level. Who was farming UST on Anchor last week? Sorry, sir. My condolences. There's one gentleman there. Wrecked, as we say. Right, onto the session. I mean, we have a pretty varied, collection of panelists here, right? Exchange, hardware wallet, investing. Maybe, Irina, maybe we can start with you. You probably touch the regulated financial world the most, and sort of retail consumers and so on at Bitpanda. Tell us a little bit about your outlook there in terms of reg and policy, particularly in Europe.
So I think regulation is always a not sexy topic to talk about, but it's super, super important. So I think that what makes the difference, so we see a lot, like if we look today at the crypto world, it looks like the wild, wild west, with a lot of players taking markets by storm, with a lot of players that are not regulated. Regulation is still lagging behind because innovation always precedes regulation, and you first have the innovation, and then you have the regulatory bodies that need to actually build the proper regulation for it. There's not, I think that the key challenge in Europe is that it doesn't exist in uniform regulation. So you need to get licensed market by market in order to be able to operate in a regulated way. I think that for us at Bitpanda, regulatory is paramount. Why? Because we're talking about the safety of the customer's assets. And we're talking about the fact that we want to keep our users safe. And I think that here there's an ongoing conversation. I think that Europe has made significant steps forward. We're looking forward to MiCA and seeing how it's going to go in the direction of a uniform regulation of crypto all over Europe. And until then, we're getting license by license, market by market, in order to make sure that we can keep our customers safe.
Just to jump in there, I thought the big sell of Europe was passporting across the EU, right? Like, for example, we remember back in 2014-15, people like Coinbase going state by state, getting money transmission licenses in the US. So is that pitch for the EU regulatory framework not quite what they say?
So passporting only partially works, and only works in some industries, because what you need in the case of crypto, which is unregulated, you're going to see different requirements from different governments. And then with passporting, you can do what's called reverse solicitation. So basically onboard customers in those markets, but not actively market to acquire customers. What you need to do in order to operate in a regulated way is to get licenses from the local authorities, or approval to operate from the local authorities at the moment, on top of passporting the license.
I see. So are there any jurisdictions that you think are sort of crypto hotspots in Europe right now?
I don't think there are crypto hotspots in Europe right now, but I can tell you of crypto not spots, if I can talk about this. So we see, for example, we're working closely with the regulators in Spain, and right now, according to the recent regulations, if you want to advertise crypto, you're going to end up with half an ad and half a disclaimer, like literally half a disclaimer, which we did because we're 100% compliant, and it went viral in Spain because basically our ads were half and the other half was the disclaimer. And now we're in open conversation with the regulators in order to change this because it's absurd.
So that's almost like tobacco advertising, right?
Yeah, and it's also about the time, because it's super, super lengthy to get the proper licenses to operate. So we're fully licensed in Austria. We have the license from the FMA in France, and we're getting licenses one by one. It's easier in Central and Eastern European markets, for example, where central banks are giving you approval to operate on the market, and then you can go.
Gotcha. I mean, maybe Stephane, I was going to jump over to you. Like, I'm curious, you operate in Southeastern Europe, right? What sort of trends are you seeing there in terms of the founders coming to you, or even among users there in those markets? Is there a lot of demand for example, CEX exchange type of access and products, or more DeFi? What are you seeing out there?
I mean, for sure, when you think about Eastern Europe, what you have to think first is great developers, so great tech talent. So in general, the people that we see around there are quite geeky. The startups that we meet quite often are with great technical teams, but not necessarily with good marketing skills or sales skills, etc. So that's kind of a generic description of the startup ecosystem in Eastern Europe, let's say. But things are evolving. In every country, basically, you see like different waves, and these waves are typically, one company becomes like the largest unicorn, and then out of this company, a lot of new teams, or just splitting and starting something new. And a lot of the founders coming out in these new teams are quite ambitious and usually want to do a bigger and more successful project that the previous success story of their respective country achieved. So we see this happening, for example, I'm generalizing. I'm not talking only about crypto, but like in Romania, for example, we saw like some kind of a crazy enthusiasm after UiPath, and a lot of kind of new companies spinning out of UiPath, but also other companies that are now ambitious and want to do something bigger and bolder than UiPath. We're actually investors in one fintech company called Fintech OS in Romania. Those guys they're obsessed by the idea of doing something bigger than UiPath. So this kind of happens in every country. In Bulgaria right now, 2 years ago there were 0 unicorns, and now there are actually 4 or 5. 2 of them are actually crypto. One of them is Nexo, you guys are probably familiar with. So maybe if we talk about crypto, Nexo it's a good example of what's happening in Bulgaria. You'll be surprised how many crypto projects are actually developed, or part of the development teams are based in the region. For example, big part of the Polygon team is actually based in Belgrade, in Serbia.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the, I think, features of the crypto markets in terms of capital raising, is very geographically agnostic, right? It's not like, you got to go to Sand Hill Road and blah, 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 and all of that. It's like you see huge companies coming out of, every part of the world, really, regardless. I mean, Ruben, what do you think?
I think what we've seen over the last, let's say, 4 or 5 years, is sort of attract and repel movement or trend. So if in the beginning, let's say in 2018, 2020, you saw Malta, you saw Estonia attracting people, so they had very good intentions to do so. But if you look today, what's going on with people in Malta, they're basically moving out. Most of them were flocking to Portugal as the new hotspot, Valhalla for crypto investors. And it's always on the junction where you see that all the good intentions are there. Politicians try to do what they can because it obviously also accelerates the economy. And then regulation comes by, and instead of being, let's say, supportive, it's generally a bit too restrictive. And now we see Estonia, people are going to Latvia, Malta, people are going to Portugal. Yesterday or the day before, Portugal announced that they will also start cracking down a bit on, let's say, at least in starting with a crypto tax. So I'm not against regulation at all, because if you look at the last events that occurred, it is relevant. It needs to be there to protect the consumers or the businesses. But I think we go too fast from supportive to very restrictive to even crack down, even on my sector, which is non-custody wallets. If you purely zoom in on what they are trying to, or let's say what they announced to do there, they basically, so they want us to do KYC on our users, and what will actually happen if you do something like that is hackers will know exactly where you have your money, where you have your crypto, where they have to go, how much you have, and it becomes even easier for malicious parties to actually try to steal it from you.
It becomes like a data honeypot almost, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a real huge danger that I would say there's a lot of level of education that's a bit missing typically towards from these people who do the regulation, simply because it's super complex, crypto.
Yeah. I mean, that just strikes me as being a little bit like crazy, right? Because you're like a hardware wallet. You're not, like, you're the most, in a way, pure crypto use case, right? You're literally, private keys held by users. You don't touch their funds.
It's the whole philosophy of decentralization. That's what we offer. We offer you to start truly owning what is yours. You create your keys offline. You keep them offline. Nobody will ever see them. And so, in a sense, it's quite strange because if, let's say, regulators push for such KYC trend, you will become even more vulnerable in online solutions. And it will become more interesting for us, or let's say for a user, to actually buy such a offline wallet where everybody is allowed to know what you have. They can't attack it because your crypto is offline.
Yeah, it's almost like the end of non-custodial, crypto keys, right? I just wanted to touch quickly as well, because you're also very consumer-facing, and explaining matters of security and so on to end users is not the easiest thing. So I'm just curious, what's your experience like, designing a user-friendly product for users to help them keep their private key secure?
Yeah, so when we founded Ngrave, we come from, let's say me and my two co-founders come from a background of serious personal hacks. The biggest one was my co-founder losing 44,000 ETH in 2017. It was not his crypto, it was the crypto of the company, but obviously it's your company, so the product sort of died. They were able to actually complete a rescue mission of over $200 million that they saved. And in our heads, there was sort of a light bulb that went on and said, like, crypto security is really SH star T. So we need to build something. We need to build something much better. And we knew we had like 2 years bear market cycle to actually go full on that. And we wanted to do two things. One, never compromise on security, which is why we have the EAL7 security certification, and everything is offline, so hackers can't attack. And two, it needed to be a 21st century solution. So it needed to be touchscreen device, swiping, tapping through your crypto. So if you look just in our sector of the market, today there is no such combination of ease of use and the actual offline peace of mind. So it is a huge challenge to do that. Otherwise, you would see also more projects like us actually pulling it off.
Absolutely. I wonder if you can just quickly touch on that before we talk about bear and bull markets quickly. Because hardware wallet is interesting because it feels like a couple of brands have really established a very strong lead, right? Ledger and Trezor, for example. So if you're a new entrant in that market, what do you do? How do you build up your market share? What's your strategy there?
Well, I would say, so we have a different solution, right? We really focused on building something end-to-end. So we build something where it starts with how do you make strong keys? And even that first part of the whole decentralized user journey, creating strong private keys, we realized that banks, the best crypto online or offline wallets, actually don't make good keys. So we had to invent a new key, which we call the Ngrave perfect key, a patented key. And we went from that point of extremity to the whole other point, which is tomorrow I pass away, I have 5 kids or 2 kids. They need to get access to my Bitcoin. It's an industry challenge today as well. And all the security conundrums you have in between those points need to be solved. Nobody is doing that today. That is what we focused on for the last 4 years, to actually do the whole end-to-end, strong key, make a backup, no more paper wallets. So it's sort of the completeness of the solution that we believed that was missing in the market and that we focused on building.
And I think it's worth pointing out that both Ledger and Trezor are European unicorns, maybe multi-unicorns at this stage. All right, last couple of minutes. Irina, are we in the start of a bear market? Are we in a crypto winter now? And is that good or bad?
So I think like if we look at the numbers, we are. I'm not sure if it's autumn or winter. That's about to see. I think that this is like it's bear and bull market. This is how things alternate and not only in the world of crypto, in the world of investment overall. And if we look at stocks, if we look at ETFs, it's exactly the same tendency. So we might be, I hope, towards the end of a bear market. I think that bear markets bring a lot of opportunities as well. And I think that, and here comes, besides regulation, here comes another responsibility of the actors on the market, and that's education and user education. Because I see way too frequently, like if you look at the numbers, there are a lot of people that are worse off by investing than better off. Because what they do is that they buy high when the hype starts, Bitcoin has increased, they buy high, and then they sell low because they get scared they are going to lose the money. And we literally need to invest in education as actors on the market in order to make sure that people understand how to navigate a bear market and how to take advantages of all the opportunities, the investment opportunities that appear in bear markets. Because overall, if we look backwards, if we look historically, we're going to see an overall upward trend. So based on historical data, we can safely assume that the upward trend is going to continue following the end of the bear market. So now it's not a good moment to sell the assets that you have to minimize losses, but maybe to buy the dip in terms of not only crypto, in terms of ETFs, in terms of stock. And also one thing, when talking about bears and bulls, and when talking about risk, there are two types of risks. There's the market risk. And the market risk happens to all the players in the market. That's out of your control. So you don't have to think about it because that's it. You just need to have your own strategies. Then besides this risk, that's also the diversifiable risk, which is a great portion of the risk. And the more diversified a portfolio, which is not I buy half a Bitcoin and I keep it there and that's my investment portfolio, but I build a diversified portfolio, including stocks, preferably not stocks of only tech companies, different type of crypto projects, maybe adding on top crypto metals, then you have a diversified portfolio and the risk of you having losses is lower. So I think it's important to learn how to navigate because there are strategies in bear and bull markets as well.
All right, let's quickly go. We're going to run over a little bit. Are we in crypto winter, Ruben? Bear or bull? Good or bad?
Sorry?
Are we in a bear market now? Is that good or bad?
Well, I think it's obvious we're in a bear market. I would also say that the last time I saw prices plunge like this and keep plunging was 2018, so it's definitely similar. I think what's good is in 2017-18, we had about 1,500 to 1,800 projects coming in the space. A lot of them are, let's say, dead now. This year, we are talking about more than 10,000 projects. It's the quality generally that sticks, and in a perverse way, sometimes it's needed, right? Also, in the last year, 200 million new unique crypto users joined in. We are now at like 350 million. So many of the weak hands that sold were portfolios from after Q2 or 3 2021. Yeah. So really like the newbies and
Okay, Stephane, I think we're going to get kicked out soon. So give us your opinion on the crypto markets.
Actually, as an investor, we're actually super happy right now because we love bear markets. There are a lot of things that are just too crazy out there in bullish markets, and the bear market usually brings some better deals, some better valuations. Not outrageous ones. You have a lot of kind of dodgy projects that disappear during those times. So it filters a bit as well the space. So actually, we're looking forward to it.
Okay, awesome.
If I can add something in the end, if we have, a lot of us have been shopping for Black Friday. So when a product is discounted, we go and buy it. But when a stock or when crypto is discounted, we shy away and we run away. Why don't we enjoy the same discounts?
There you have it. It's Black Friday, everyone. Enjoy. Well, thanks to my wonderful panel, and thanks for listening.
Cool.